Hello, I'm Jeff from FerrariFXS.com. I've been asked to shoot a short video on how to change the oil on a Ferrari 360. I'm performing this on a 2003 Ferrari 360 Spider today, but it is common to all 360s. Before you perform the operation of draining the oil, you please need to drive your car or operate it to normal operating temperatures so the oil is free flowing and drains the system completely. So I have already performed my oil change for the year, and I will not actually be draining the oil but walking you through the procedures on how to drain the oil. First, you want to gain access to the drain plugs. There is 2 of them on the 360. There is 2 rubber grommets over the drain plugs. You see a forward and an aft. Just by prying on these rubber grommets, you should be able to remove them. Now these plugs are 2 different sizes. You will need an Allen wrench or Allen socket to remove these plugs. They will be a 12 millimeter and a 14 millimeter to remove these plugs. The 12 goes to the forward plug. The 14 is to the aft plug. Before you remove these plugs, make sure you have a large enough container to contain the oil. There is approximately 9 quarts of oil in the system. The system actually holds 10.5, but with the lines in that, you're not going to be able to drain the system completely. So the aft plug has a metal or magnet applied to it, so when you remove it, you should not find anything of any size on it. You could find a few little flakes on it, which is normal, but if you pull it out and it has large pieces or it looks like fuzz, that could be an indication that something is wearing out and you may have some other problems inside the motor. You may have to take your Ferrari to a authorized Ferrari dealership or a service center where you have your Ferrari maintenance done. Aft, forward. Once you have drained the oil completely, you're able to reinstall both plugs and torque to the proper specs in the Ferrari service manual. You do not want to over torque these since you are screwing it into an aluminum case and could damage the threads. So once you have those plugs reinstalled and torqued to the proper torques, reinstall the rubber grommets. And then you are done underneath the car. This is all you need to do below the car. The rest of the procedure will be performed above the car in the engine bay. Okay, now that you've reinstalled your drain plugs, we're going to proceed on the oil change from the top side here by gaining access to the oil filter assembly and servicing it with new oil. First, you want to locate the filter assembly, which is located below the power steering reservoir and forward of your oil reservoir, engine oil reservoir. You will be able to feel your oil filter by going through the axis next to the oil reservoir and forward, center forward, and you can feel your filter assembly. This may still be a little warm, so watch yourself so you don't burn yourself. So once you have located that, you will need to use either a strap wrench or a cap type wrench to remove the filter assembly. I have a strap type wrench that I use on mine. They make several different sizes of these. You may want to take your new filter and go to the local parts store and get the correct size wrench to remove this filter. Now, installing this on the filter, there is a correct way to install this. One way loosens and one way tightens. You will have to figure this out once you have this installed. You will take this wrench and you will insert it. Easiest access is through this little opening here on the right side. You take this wrench and fish it through, and then you should be able to place it on the filter assembly. You cannot see this because it's buried underneath. You'll just have to do this by feel. So once you have it on there, you'll feel it slide on there, and then you should be able to move the wrench counterclockwise to remove the filter assembly. Once you have the filter loose, you should be able to remove the wrench from the filter, and then be able to take your hand and spin the filter off completely. Once you have the filter removed, you will have to remove, this is an example, this is not the actual filter, this is a filter from another vehicle, but you will bring the filter out through there, and then what you want to do is turn the filter towards you with the opening, and then make sure on your old filter that the seal is still installed in the filter assembly. If the filter seal is not, you will have to go back down there and feel around to see if you can get the old seal. If you install the new filter with the old seal on, you will have a leak, so you don't want that. So make sure that that your old filter has the seal still installed. So once you have your new filter, you want to put some oil from your new oil, a little on your finger, and you're going to want to wipe a little oil around the seal before installing. I know this is dry, but you're going to put a little oil on your finger, and you want to get this slightly wet all the way around. Just make sure it's nice and wet all the way around. And then you want to proceed to put your filter back onto the filter assembly, and then screw it down till the filter assembly just stops. You don't want to torque it this time. You just want to spin it on there until it's finger tight, until it stops. And then at this point, the filter is ready to torque or tighten per the Ferrari service manual. Usually, what I do is if I can see the filter assembly, I would mark it, and you want to go to 3/4 of a turn beyond where the filter just mated the surface. You don't want to over torque, but then you don't want to under torque. Under torque will cause a leak. If you over torque, you could stress the threads, or it would be very difficult to remove on the next oil change. Once you've installed your new filter, you want to remove your cap to your oil reservoir, and then you want to wipe this clean. You want to make sure you completely wiped off the oil from the dipstick, and then you want to service the engine with approximately 9 quarts of synthetic oil, either 0W40 or 5W40. which is called out in the Ferrari service manual. Once you have your oil installed, you will next proceed to start the car. Once the car is started and running, you will want to recheck the oil quantity. Over service and under service of the oil reservoir is very critical. If you under service, engine damage can occur, and over servicing, engine damage can occur. So you want to get the proper oil quantity in your engine, and the proper way to check the oil on your Ferrari is with the car running. Warm, normal operating temperature with the engine running. We'll demonstrate that right now. Now once you service your oil to the proper quantity and your car is running, you want to unscrew your cap, pull the dipstick out. You're going to wipe it down, reinstall it, and let it rest on the reservoir. You do not need to screw it down. Just let it rest there. Remove it and check your quantity. The quantity should be between the two holes on the dipstick. If it's below, you need to add more oil. If it's above, you need to remove oil. But make sure the oil quantity is in between the two holes on your dipstick. If it is, this should complete your oil change. Reinstall the oil cap, screw it all the way down, and then you need to check and make sure again that the oil filter assembly is not leaking. It should be dry. If it is leaking, you need to shut your car off immediately and investigate why it is leaking.